Hello Bournemouth fans, hope you're doing okay this Monday. We're outside the Vitality Stadium and it all feels very, very strange. There's a few cars about, including a few members of staff. One of them is parked in the Eddie Howe spot, but whether that is actually him or not, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a lot to clear up over the next few days and, well, it may even stretch into weeks. It can't really afford to, but yeah, we are here outside the ground and I don't know about how you're feeling, but it's a whirlwind of emotions at the moment. I mean, relegation from the Premier League was one thing, but then we got that positive announcement from the board on Tuesday to say that we're committed to getting us back in the Premier League, and everyone thought, well, that must mean it includes Eddie, right? Not so. Saturday night, 9 o'clock, came the announcement, and look, first and foremost, we want to say thank you, Eddie, for what you've done. He's done wonders. He's created a culture at the football club, and he's publicly led a desire to see a legacy in bricks and mortar. And I just wonder, the new direction thing, is that the fact that maybe that's no longer happening now? We don't know, but either way, he had a desire to see us improve on and off the pitch. But recently he has looked fatigued, and so the break, I hope it's what he needs to recharge his batteries and come back to football at any given time stronger. He was spotted by Steve Harris from BBC Radio Solent Dorset Breakfast Show playing tennis with his sons on a Sunday morning, which is a lovely thing to see. Hopefully his phone's off for quite a while and he can just enjoy some family time. Obviously we're concerned about his health, and yeah, what a guy. Of course we've done our thank you Eddie video. It didn't want to be a goodbye video. It's turned into one. Thanks for all the shares of that, and if you want to watch that, the card at the top of the screen is where you need to click. Make sure you've got your hankies out for that one. It's always a roller coaster supporting AFC Bournemouth, and this last week is probably something that sums up many seasons for AFC Bournemouth, because we've experienced massive highs, and for me it's a low. Now, for not all people it's a low, and there are some people almost embracing this change and thinking it could be a chance for a fresh way to do things. But you know, we've got to face facts. Eddie was integral to everything within this football club, even the sort of marketing material that goes on the walls, internally and externally. That means whoever comes in has got incredibly big shoes to fill. And however, the fact is, we don't want another version of Eddie, because I actually think that job is impossible to a person that is certainly, you know, external. We don't really want that, because I don't think anyone else, even Jason Tindall, Purchase or whatever, they haven't got the same relationship with the club that Eddie has. I think we need someone to come in who can just concentrate on the footballing side of things and not all of the niceties around it. As nice as it was for Eddie to be doing all of those things, I think the person needs to come in, needs to be in a well-placed position and, you know, get us competing as soon as possible. Someone that's filling Eddie's shoes, I don't think will be able to do that. We just need almost a restructure in terms of our management and make sure that the manager is just concentrating on the football. It's just a shame now that we've perhaps turned into another football club. We don't know that yet, of course, but are we now a short-term mentality side rather than this long-term vision that Eddie had all along? The board really need to be decisive and provide a statement of intent. In some ways, it would have been better for us to have the announcement from Max come after the departure of Eddie, because then we'd be feeling a lot more optimistic about the future. But as it is, we had our highs and then we've had the lows, and now there's a radio silence. Look, it's Monday, this announcement was made on Saturday night. There's lots of time for the club to announce what they need to, I'm absolutely certain. But for fans, there's a lot of conjecture online about what's happening. Is the club being sold? What's happening to the training ground? Which the players are going to go? And I think Eddie was always our fallback, because we thought, well, as long as we've got Eddie, none of this really matters. Now we haven't got that rock, and we're thinking, right, who do we turn to next? I tell you what, these are the kind of times that it would be well handy to have a fan-based Cherries trust that was active. Sadly, at the moment, it's not. It seems like it's become pretty much mothballed, and as fans, we need some kind of authentic perspective on what is going on behind the scenes. I noticed that despite the fact that Cherries Trust seems to have sort of mothballed and not be active. They still put out tweets asking Cherries fans for 10 quid, but for what? Literally the tweets say to join, click here, it costs £10. You go on the page, there's nothing there. There's a little bit on their website, but not much at all, and the Facebook link doesn't even work. We've offered the chance for them to come on and just tell us about what they intend to do, what they can feasibly do, and what their £10 would be spent on, because I think it's important that Cherries fans know, and this could be the time where we need them the most. So of course we need people to actually be on the Cherries Trust, and I know that they had a steering group, etc., but that sort of died down. People have left, so no one really knows what's going on with that. So hopefully as a podcast we can get them on really soon and talk about what they intend to do. Who comes in then? A lot of people have been saying Tyndall and Purchase, and Mark Mosley's had a mention, and there are also external candidates. I know that Gary Monk, Chris Hooton, names like the Cowley brothers. And as I said, equally there are members of staff that are working within the club, but you've got to question the authenticity of the statement that was put out about this new direction. If we're simply going to employ someone that's been a significant part of the old direction, almost like an Eddie Light. So why is Eddie going? Is he fleeing a sinking ship? Or maybe, we know he can be stubborn, has his stubbornness and unwilling to change on certain issues meant that the board maybe do have the resources but just want a fresh face with new ideas? Because, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're talking about this, like he's died, he's not, and Bournemouth still live on, but the fact remains, yes, we are a small club, but given the resources in terms of playing staff that we've had this season, we've massively underperformed this season in what on paper looked like one of the best squads that we had. Now of course you can mention the hurdles we've had to face, that the team should not have been relegated from the Premier League, because to all intents and purposes we shouldn't have, should have we? But behind the scenes, it sort of suggests that something's gone on, and you hear stuff like Willow saying things on Radio Solent, that's some questionable comments about certain things behind the scenes. You see a little bit of tension online on Twitter with some people saying, well, Steve Fletcher saying, my club, my manager, my friend, whatever. And then you see someone else saying, look, why it's that all that stuff is not really needed, is it? But look, it's a raw time, raw emotions for everyone at the moment, and I'm sure that all those kind of thoughts will calm down, and hopefully the constructive conversation will come back very soon. And it's the board that now need to lead. Now's the time for some decisive and immediate action from the club, as given the very short break that we've got, a lot needs to be done in the shortest space of time there is. It's going to be a really interesting one. Across the podcast, we're going to be keeping you abreast of what is happening, so do remember to subscribe. And if you want to take part in any of these videos, whether it's remotely or down at the stadium, let me know, because we're trying to cover it as best we can. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video at the Cherries.